What's up, y'all? You're in the Fishy Den with Big Tank Hank. And I know in my advertisement, Tiffany Rose was gonna be my guest tonight, but they have a lot of personal things they need to take care of tonight. And she asked me if I didn't mind if she stepped back. I said that was no problem, because I have a real good friend that I'm pretty sure he would like to come up tonight, and he's here. Anthony Soto. Channel is Anthony's Fishy Friends. How you doing tonight, Anthony?
Doing pretty well, man. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Hey, before we get started, man, we're gonna have a moment of silence for 9/11 for all of those heroes who stepped up, to fight off those that would want to take our peace. And I think they did a good job, and hey, that's the least we can do for them.
Sounds good.
All right, all right. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank you for coming in tonight. Who we got? Who we got? I see PB Aquatics. How you doing? Kayla Aquatics. What's happening? Kayla, what's happening? Card Father. Recon's Aquariums. Thank you. Thank y'all for coming in. We're going to have a good show tonight. Very good show. We're going to let y'all get to know. For those that don't know Anthony, I'm going to let him introduce himself to you. Tell you a little bit about his early life, growing up as young Anthony before he had this channel and became Anthony Fishy Friends and started this wonderful journey that we got here, in the fish fam. All right, Anthony, I'm going to roll it over to you. Introduce yourself and give us a little slight rundown of who you are and what you do.
All right, man. I was born in the LA area of Southern California. Grew up kind of all around. And, I'm sorry, man. I have to address what Bob said real quick. Bob, of course, Tiffany is cuter than me. That should really go without saying. I mean, come on. Yeah, I remember having a fish tank when I was young. I don't remember quite how old I was. I'd have to say somewhere between third and fifth grade, maybe. I don't really remember much about it at all, except I know I had a pleco.
Right.
I think that's kind of the story for most kids' tanks, I had a pleco.
Goldfish
Don't know
pleco.
what else was in there. Surprisingly, I do remember that the water was somewhat clear, so I don't think I had a goldfish in there.
Hey, the start. I was just gonna say the two worst things. We'll have a goldfish and a pleco and forever clean in the tank.
Well, I actually saw a customer have a 20 high, I think, with two common goldfish that were about oh man, there we go, about that big. So a good 8-inch to 9-inch goldfish each.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't really remember much about that tank other than the pleco and some fake stuff, of course, no live plants, I'm sure. And I got back into the hobby, I believe it's been 3 years now. And I'm going kind of nuts.
And it's understandable. It's understandable. This thing is addictive. It is addictive.
So yeah, most of my followers know that it all started with a goldfish for me from a fair that my little one won. And I still have it today.
Okay.
In my goldfish tank with 4 others, including a shabunkin. Yo, Frank. Oh, cool.
Thank you, Joe's Tips and Tricks.
I am up to, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 aquariums sprinkled throughout my house. And that excludes the rack I'm setting up.
Okay, okay. How many tanks you gonna have on that rack?
That's something I'm going to talk about on my stream tonight, actually, because I'm
Okay,
going to be
okay,
asking for some advice.
okay.
But the top 2 rows are either going to be 6 or 7 10-gallon tanks. And that's where the advice comes in. And the bottom 2 racks are having 5 20-gallon tanks each.
Okay, okay. 20 longs or tall?
Talls.
Okay. Because I love a long.
Oh, I love the longs too, man. But honestly, if I can't find a way to reasonably rack them while saving some good space, I may very well get rid of them.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Thank you, Bob.
Both in the house.
But I do love them, man. And honestly, it's more of a thing of, especially going into winter, I'm trying to reduce the amount I'm spending. I am even debating, as much as I love all of my sumps, I'm debating on switching everything in my fish room back to sponge filters so I can run my central air system in there again. I'm going to be running a central air for my rack, which I am considering, although I really don't want to do it because I absolutely, again, love my sumps. Putting some sponge filters in this tank.
Okay. Yeah, I just hooked up a sump myself in my little pond in the garage.
Yeah, man, I saw that. That was cool.
Added some more plants to it. I'm gonna see what it's gonna do. But yeah,
Nice.
other than that, man, I got to have the sponge. I have 2 small hang on the backs in there that I really just use for clearing my water. I like to go to the creek, and dig mud out. And I usually just use those to clear the tank out before I get everything rolling. I like them, but yeah, that electric bill, the wife don't like them too much when you got too much going. Then you got all the humming.
I think eventually I may very well want to. One day I do hope to.
Welcome.
What's that?
No, I was welcoming Pet Silence.
One day I really do hope to build an actual fish room and take my time with it in my garage. My garage is 2 cars wide and 2 cars deep, so I want to turn the back half into the fish room.
Okay, man. Hey,
because I am the type of guy that needs to have my car, no matter how beat up it is or anything, in the garage if I have a garage. If I don't have a garage, of course, that's a different story, man, but I got a garage.
Hey, that's like my wife. We moved here. We've been here about 2 years. And man, I had plans, for the garage before we moved in. I'm like, man, I'm gonna insulate over there where that door is, and I'm gonna do my plans. I guess I forgot to say something. So we move in. I'm like, yeah, I mentioned it to my wife. Hey, baby, I want to, we go ahead and get some insulation and put up. She's like, well, we gonna use the garage. I'm like, what you talking about? We have a car. I'm like, well, we ain't never used the garage, nowhere else. She's like, but we have a garage now. Yeah, okay. But we only have 1 car. It's a 2-car garage, so I might be able to get a talking to let me use that right half.
Yeah.
I might be able to talk into it. I'm see what I can do. Big J, what's happening? What's happening? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, hey, we're gonna talk about because Dead Fred, hey, you coming up tonight, man. 11 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, we're gonna bring you up so everybody can see who you are. Remember that I told you last
Nice.
Yeah, he been hiding too long, man. He been hiding too long. Got to see who he is. But we're gonna talk about the worst thing that happened in your fish room. You know, since my leak today kind of hit me in my in my shana now. Hey y'all, in the chat now. I want you to tell us about some of the worst things that happened to you. We'll highlight you. We're gonna talk about it. I had a tank today, a 10-gallon tank. I was working on a filter in a 20 long on the bottom row on my rack over here. And the 10-gallon tank just went to dripping, just out of nowhere. No warning. Usually it works that way though, right? But no warning, just went to dripping. So I'm looking, trying to see where it is. And I'm very thankful that it happened while I was standing here as opposed to some other time. But I got it out in time, didn't get in any water on my carpet, put the tank in the garage. I don't know if I'm going to reseal or not. It's an old tank. And, you know, I took the rim off of it trying to be all snazzy. And I think I weakened it. So, I mean, at this point, it's probably, you know, not worth me trying to worst experience, Anthony, in your fish room. Or not even have.
Well, like you said, you have carpet in yours. And I already told you that I was filling up some tanks on my rack today, and I already flooded that. And that was thanks to trying to set up my stream. But the worst experience I've had in my fish room, I'd really have to say is the death of my flower horn.
Okay.
That was like the only fish I actually had a name for. But I kind of got two for you though. So other than that one, because a lot of people talk about deaths, I wanted to talk about what I was messaging you about earlier. Is my big flood in my actual fish room, the room that's dedicated to fish. I have carpet in there. I flooded a tank once, and it wasn't completely horrible, so I cleaned it up. Then I went to do a water change the next day, and I flooded it again. And this was all on carpet, man. So I have a 100-gallon IBC tote.
What's up? Hey.
I don't know, man. I don't think Rob could ever dream of being as big as Hank.
Oh man. Yeah, he could use my shirt as a nightgown or something. Can you say you got a 100-gallon IBC tote?
Yep, and that's one of the things I use for my water changes. You know, it sits in the room, so I fill it up. I used to have the central air running around, so I had an air stone running in it. I had a heater in there for when I wanted to do a water change. I would heat it up the night before. I was filling that up, and I probably poured a good 50 to 60 gallons of water on my floor.
Oh man, how you managed that one?
I forgot I was filling it up. I went to go do other stuff. I went back in there. Well, I didn't even get back in there. I was just like walking back in there thinking I already put everything away. And while I was still in my hallway, there was a slush. Oh man.
Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
I could see the water on top of the carpet. Um,
Man.
that is the time when I just got a utility blade and started chopping the carpet away, man. So yeah, that's the worst experience in my fish room so far. Um, I have not yet had tanks break that were in use.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I've
I
seen some
did
people's
have
tanks
one
explode.
10-gallon crack as I was filling it up.
Ooh. And I can even imagine coming in here and having water just standing on the. Well, no, you just reminded me of something. Oh man, I want to say 1997, 96, 97. I had this huge tank that somebody gave me from a school. Now, I was just glad to have a huge tank. Now, this tank had been drilled and had a stopper in it, so I'm thinking the tank must have been for reptiles or something. But it had this stopper in the bottom of it. Young, dumb, hard headed. I convinced myself if I put silicone on this stopper, I'm good. It was in the bottom, not sides, nothing. Bottom. I wasn't going, initially I wasn't going to have fish because I had some baby alligators I was going to put in it. I had them in there for a while. Tank never leaked. Everything was fine. And the tank was huge, man. It had to be like 100 gallons or something. Huge. I'm like, man, I'm going to put me some Oscars in here. I went and bought a lot of little baby Oscars, albino. Filled this tank all the way up. Oscars was doing good for a while, man. I'm feeding them, putting I cut worms up, put them on toothpicks, and I was feeding them one at a time. They'll come up and take the worm off the toothpick. Oh man, it was all good. One night I was asleep and I heard this push. So wake up, go to the living room. Water everywhere, whole dining room.
Oh man.
Water. The whole tank let go, man. The whole tank let go. Oh man. Needless to say, my house stunk for so long, man. We had blowers on it, fans, and it was a rental house. My cousin's grandparents' house. I didn't want to tell them, what had happened. So we couldn't cut the carpet out either. So, oh man. Ooh,
Go get a rug doctor.
ooh man. I wish, but oh my goodness, man. It was no good. It was no good.
Yeah, you see, I
Oh,
actually got one of them carpet vacuums, one of the really good ones. And they suck up the water really well, but the problem is you can't get in the tight spaces, man. So when you got fish tanks in the stands and you're trying to get the water underneath the stands, it ain't happening.
and in the corners and whatnot. Oh man. Needless to say, though, I learned. Y'all forgive me. I should have put this on airplane mode. I got people messaging me. All right, all right, all right. When you fit in the fish hobby, you can have fish stuff going on at any time. I got somebody coming at midnight want to get some old saltwater stuff. I have skimmers, old school like 20-year-old skimmers. Like the ones I see now that have a pump already on them. Well, these don't. You have to pipe everything in or whatever. I don't have a whole lot of experience in it, but I just have them, and he wants to come get them. Along with the pump.
I know there's a lot of older equipment that's pretty bulletproof, in general. But I think a lot of the newer stuff is probably more energy efficient.
Yeah, I can see where that be a little more feasible. But yeah, I don't know nothing about them. The sump, it was all a part of that. The 150 I had, the sump that I'm using, all of that was the same system. So I just have like a bunch of stuff just in my garage that I don't have any idea what to do with. I was gonna turn the skimmers into like some symmetrical fish tanks for some small fish or something. But I'm like, no, it's too many holes, and I'm gonna have to do something with. I'm not that little young guy in the '90s that who would just stick a piece of plastic on it and silicone it. I would actually seal it up properly, but nah, that's too much work for something I don't even think I even want to fool with.
Yeah. I've really had to, especially having my daughter, I've had to really think about, do I really want to spend my time doing that?
The extras for no reason.
Yeah. So I mean, that even's gonna go down to resealing certain tanks, man. But before I used to, when I was a little bit earlier in the hobby, and I'm talking maybe just a year or two ago, I feel like the dollar per gallon tanks were made much better. Now it seems like I almost want to contact Aqueon, have them send me the glass and the trim, and seal it myself. I honestly think I'd get a better tank.
Yeah, right, Griffin. Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for
And
coming.
that floor's nice.
Yeah, and I believe in the deals, man, getting the tanks, offer ups, and stuff like that. But I always had that thing in the back of my head, am I gonna have to reseal it? And there's a lot of people who they make it sound so, so effortless. Man, I don't know. Me, I'm all thumbs. When it comes to certain intricate details, I can see clumps of silicone everywhere. My tank just looking ragged. It might not leak, but I don't even know if I want to deal with that.
Yeah.
As long as they had this dollar per gallon, still going on, I just wait them out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to buy my tens without the dollar per gallon pricing because
Oh,
the sale already ended, and I just need to finish it, man. They're already telling me that next week we're going back on 6 days a week again, so
ooh. I'm glad I don't work but 4 days at the prison.
ooh, 4 tens?
Yep.
Nice.
If I had anything longer than that, I don't know. They always talking about, man, we got all this overtime. I feel you with overtime, but it's still a prison, and I don't, if I don't have to go back in there, go back in there. Why am I trying to come back here? I done put myself up. Don't even know how or why. All right. Is it lagging? Or is it just me?
You're kind of staticky.
How about now? Is that better?
We had two of you up there for a minute.
Oh. Let's see. How's that sound?
I think that sounds better. There's still like a reverb or something.
I wonder. Unmute. Say something.
I was trying to see if it was me.
I'm hearing static too. Yeah, Fred says he's hearing static on both sides. Let me see. Hey, I'm gonna take you down, and then I want you to come back up. Come on, phone. That's dragging. Oh my goodness. Not that. All right, now Anthony, come back up. Yeah, because I was having battery issues. My battery was running. It was running down. So I was trying to give me a little juice before I put the headphones back in. But I do agree. It was doing all right at that point. Anthony's trying to come back up, but I don't see him on my guest tag. Here we go. But I still hear it's not static. That's me. That's not him.
There we go.
It's still trying to static. Hold on. All right, we're gonna get through this though.
Hey, George. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, everyone. T.
Are we better? Are we better? I just posted the link. If I'm back on.
Not catching much of what you're saying, Hank.
What's happening? What's happening? Muppet 929, Aqua Balls. What's going
there
on?
we go.
I see my son saying hello there. What's going on, Joshua? That's my son right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, like people I know out here on my side of the world to come and visit me on here. I just can't get them to do it. My son came to visit though, but hey, I'll take that one.
I'm the opposite. Leave me and my fish world alone. Like I get customers that are like, "Oh, really? You have a YouTube channel?" I'm like, "It ain't big. Don't worry about it." "Oh no, don't worry. I'll sub. I'll come. I'll go to your streams." Nah, it's okay.
Sickless 23, what's going on?
You know, if they find me, they find me. That's cool, but you know, I just don't want to mix work and YouTube
Yeah, I hear you.
up
I hear
so
you.
much, you know.
I have a coworker that comes on. I'm still echoing here, but I only have one. Wait a minute.
You actually sound really good on my side now.
Okay, let me see if I can get rid of that.
Hey, Terry.
Catfish Terry, what's going on? Is that Big Renzo? Big
Yep.
Renzo.
Yeah, you sound very good on my side now.
Okay, yeah, it was actually the headphones, which that was crazy, but I'm not gonna argue with it. I'm just gonna watch my little ball up there. All right, all right, all right, all right. There we go again. Why is it trying to fight me?
I've never seen it do that before.
Oh, it's harassing me tonight, man. What's going on? Is that a spirit? Leave me alone. Leave my stream alone. All right, all right.
There we go. Nah, bro, Kirk, you can't go to bed, man. You gotta come out to my stream in 45 minutes or 43 minutes. Yeah, I postponed my stream 15 minutes so I can do things, you know, like rest and use the restroom and all that.
What time you normally start?
9:30.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my
What's the
time. So
time
an
difference?
hour after you. An
Okay.
hour after you.
Okay. I got confused. I'm like, okay. Because I know West Coast direction, we have like around the Las Vegas area is 1 hour. Las Vegas this way is like 1 hour. And then beyond that is like two, right? Ahead of us or
Let's see,
behind.
are you mountain or central?
I'm central.
Okay, so I know Priscilla is mountain time in Colorado, and that's 1 hour difference from you. And
Yeah.
then there's 1 hour difference from mountain time to Pacific time. So we got 2 hours in between us.
Yeah.
And you got 1 hour between you and Eastern, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the whole 2 hours going East Coast. Getting there before you. Oh,
Might just pass out in 5. Yeah, man, that's tough. They got me back on 6 days starting next week, so yeah.
who you gonna drink with, Aquaball? HC Aqua?
Actually, George, yes. I got some whiskey sitting in the fridge, and I ain't drinking heavy, but I'm gonna have a drink. You'll be welcome up when I break it out into a hangout. I just want to talk a little bit about my water change stuff going on.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. Joe is in Colorado as well.
Here we go. Dead Fred is on the way.
Hey, Dead Fred.
Good evening, gentlemen. How's it going?
What's going on,
Pretty
man?
well. How are you?
Welcome.
How y'all feeling?
Hey, I'm good. I saw that little guest icon come up. I was afraid because I've been trying to come up twice on my own stream all night, so I didn't know if I wanted to touch it. What's happening, man? Good to put
Ain't
a
nothing,
face to
man.
the.
By the way, I did check out your last video, Hank, with that it was like a reverse flow under gravel filter that you did, man. That was innovative, man. I like that.
Yeah, hey, dude. I'm gonna blame it on ADHD. If I can make myself pull out my camera at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, dude, I have so many ideas. I put so many things together, dude, just at a whim. If I can make myself pull out a camera, man, you would be surprised some of the stuff that I put together, dude. And I've been doing that as a little kid though. Just I was the only child, and I was just forever building stuff, and I just
Right.
carried over to the fish game. Because
Yeah, you can't.
we didn't have much money, so without having to bother my mama, what's happening, Danica? Without having to bother my mama and ask her for any money, I was gonna make it work.
Right.
Then Fred, man, introduce yourself. What's your government name? Where you're from? How
Well,
long you
I'm
been in
not
the
gonna
fish
give out the
business?
whole government, but some of y'all already know the name is Derek.
Okay.
Rip. Uh, Originally from New York. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. Uh, I've been researching and I'm getting into the field of aquaponics. So that's getting me back into the fish hobby because I was real big into fish when I was younger. I had a neighbor who had one of those houses that looked like it was made over by one of those remodeling agencies. Like he had like 5 ponds in his backyard, and then he had like a sunroom with like a like a 5 foot long iguana. He had a parrot that was always cursing and yelling and screaming. And he had 2 Dobermans. He had kois. He had ranchus. I mean, anything you could think of other than tropical or saltwater fish. This man had. So like he was kind of like a mentor to me, and like he really inspired me to get into fish. So my first fish or my first tank was really a betta tank. I mean, I dabbled with some feeders and some goldfish and stuff, but the first thing that I had success with was betas. So now that I'm back in the game, I'm kind of starting with betas again. So I got me one tank with one beta. I'm starting small. I was hoping this summer to actually have my first homemade aquaponic system set up, but between that thing we're not supposed to talk about on YouTube and everybody getting furloughed everywhere, it just didn't happen this summer. So I'm aiming for next summer to get my aquaponic farm set up, the first version of it. I'm already in the midst of building a business plan. I'm trying to do it big, but I want to do something for home first, to
Okay.
take care of everybody in the house before I start trying to take care of everybody out in the world.
What you focusing on growing? Just like your just regular home vegetables.
Primarily alkaline fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Sebi, but he spoke a lot about alkaline foods and how they counteract acidic foods and how acidic foods cause mucus, and mucus is the cause of all diseases. I don't know if I'm ready to subscribe to everything that Dr. Sebi said, but he had a point with the alkaline foods, and that's what I'm going to start growing. Things like watercress, kale, cabbage. Matter of fact, I got me I must have took it downstairs. I got a nice little list of things that I'm going to be starting off with, just to start small. But believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff that's probably in your garden that you're pulling up as weeds that are good for you. Including things like dandelions, mullet.
Yeah.
These things are beneficial and nutritious for you, but you're not going to find them in the stores because they really don't want to sell you the good stuff. They want to sell you the stuff that tastes good.
I got you. Yeah, my grandmother used to go out in the yard and do the dandelions, the wild onions, the whole nine. Just We out there with her just pulling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I do know what you're talking about. But man, that sounds real cool, dude. Real cool, man.
So
See, go ahead.
you're talking dandelions when they're still yellow, right?
It's really the green part of the plant that you want. You want the leaves, kind of like you do with salad and cabbage and whatnot. It's the leaves that you really want. Some people say that you can take the yellow flower part and you can make things like salad dressing and stuff like that. But the real healing power is in the green leaves themselves.
Okay, makes sense. You know, something I'd be willing to try that I haven't yet is actually duckweed.
That's, you know what, duckweed and azolla is going to be one of the things that I put in one of my deep water culture tubs. I plan on cutting that in half. And duckweed is it has an insane amount of protein in it. Like you can substitute, like you can completely take meat out of your diet and just eat duckweed. And it's funny because here in the hobby we call it fish tank herpes, you know, because it spreads from one tank to the next tank. But I mean, it is so good for the human body, and it is good for your fish too. But it's not a complete, just like anything we eat, it's not complete nutrition. So it's a good source of protein for your fish, but you still got to give your fish something else because they still haven't gotten their potassium or or any of the other nutrients that they need. You know, it's just like pure protein. But you can make smoothies with it. You can dry it up, make smoothies, add it to your dishes, add it to your salads. And it's alkaline, just like Dr. Sebi recommends.
Okay. Man, amen. Let me see. Have you heard of they call it Incredible Hulk algae? See if I can remember the actual name of it.
I want to say I seen somebody. I seen that on a video title. I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah, because I
Somewhere
never. And I mean, you know, I would see these like on Facebook. You know, like people have their own little commercials. And they speak on the benefits of them, but nobody. I would go in the comments and ask. Nobody would ever explain. You know, what I mean, when I see algae, I'm concerned because I don't know about me eating algae, but you know, they'd have the jars.
One algae that's good for you. And if anybody's from the Caribbean or got Caribbean roots, they might know about this. One is called Irish moss. Irish moss is real good for you, and it's only found. It's a sea algae.
Okay.
But that's another thing that you can make smoothies and drinks, and you can ferment it and turn it into liquor. Like there's so many things you could do with Irish moss, and it's packed full of good stuff.
Oh man.
What's up, Rebuilding Up Brand? Y'all gonna have to forgive me. I can't actually see any of the comments through StreamYard until they pop up on the screen.
Yeah, I got you. I'm trying to, especially when they're speaking to you. I don't want you to miss it.
Got you.
Priscilla, what? Don't be mad at the duckweed, Priscilla. Don't be mad
At least they in the aquarium.
Yes, duckweed is possibly the most protein-packed plant that there is. Something
Really?
that they never tell you about.
They don't.
Oh, even over kale?
Yes.
No, I'm pretty curious how bad duckweed has got to taste. Cause I tell you, man, I'm a meat eater. I ain't very big on veggies, but as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I need to be.
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 33 now.
Hey, I'm 48, and I was bulletproof until 2 years ago.
Oh man, but I'm in such bad health. I eat like junk, man. I mean, I still polish off bags of potato chips, and sometimes that'll be my lunch.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's bad, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times I won't go eat lunch. I'll just eat like crackers, like cheese crackers and junk food.
I'm not mad at cheese crackers, but
And
you
me, I'm
tell me,
42. About 10 years ago, I had my gallbladder removed because of what I was putting in my body. Between greasy and fatty foods, and then on top of that, alcohol, because I was young and dumb.
yeah.
And what's sad is that once I started having the gallbladder attacks, I had already changed my lifestyle, and I wasn't even thinking about what I did way back then, coming back to haunt me, at that age.
Well, I could honestly say, man, for 20 years or so, I was real heavy into lifting weights, powerlifting, and things like that, and that saved me physically more than me paying attention early on to what I ate. I was always a big boy, I got my heaviest. I'm about 255 now. I got up to like 320, and
Man,
just the fact that I had so much muscle and I stayed so active that my body, it maintained the equilibrium. I mean, I took in the right amount of water. I paid attention to protein and my micronutrients, for the most part. But I would drink every beer that I could see, and I believed in some snacks. I work in the penal system, so I'd go to commissary and come out with a big old box, of snacks. So, but now, especially talking about this duckweed, man, and in the kale, I'm getting back into it pretty serious now, because like I said, until 2 years ago, man, I've had to take liver ultrasounds and kidney ultrasounds, and I'm forever doing blood work, and I thank God that I'm always coming out good. But I'm not used to that. I'm not used to those things, hurting joints and all this kind of stuff. I want to reduce inflammation. I want to do
Right.
all of that, man. And
Oh, then, yeah. You know what? Then you would find it very advantageous to check out Dr. Sebi and try to find clips, videos of Dr. Sebi actually speaking, because the man passed on. He's no longer with us.
yeah,
But you got 1,000,001 people out there that are saying, "Oh yeah, this is Sebi approved, and this is a Sebi diet." Don't believe any of them. Try to hear it from the man's mouth himself. He'll tell you that limes have citric acid in them, but they become alkaline when they hit your body, and he breaks down the whole science behind it. And then you can take the information that he gives you and actually look it up and verify it for yourself. That's what I appreciate about him. Even though they tried to discredit him because he didn't have one of those American degrees
yeah,
to call himself a doctor,
Yeah.
But the man was a genius. He was a herbal specialist.
if there's one thing I've learned, having an American degree doesn't mean you know anything about anything. I am not the smartest dude in the world. I'm also not dumb, but I ain't the smartest dude in the world. And I have a friend that graduated with his 4-year degree in English, and I whip his butt in all the English games.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And
I know
I
a
mean
few
whip
people
his
like
butt,
that.
not win by a landslide. No, man, I spank him.
All right,
You know
y'all. I
what
might as
though?
well
Man,
get again.
it's time
Battery
and
was
time
on.
again.
You're gonna get me to talking about the school systems, and some people are not gonna like me because schools don't really teach you how to learn. They teach you
Take
how to
this.
have a reflex response to authority. I mean, that's really what you're learning in your school systems. And then when you move on from the 12-step program that we call grade school, you move into the colleges and the universities. You've got Hank, you might know, like when you're circuit training, you go from one exercise, you take a 30-second rest, you go to another exercise, you take a 30-second rest, and a lot of that information really doesn't stick because you're not really living it. It's just kind of being drilled into you.
Yeah.
If
Not.
my personal belief, if a person wants to become a doctor, Why are you going to wait till half of their life is over to start training them? Why not start training them when they're young, when they're small, and when they get, before they actually get to a point to actually do practical things like pick up a scalpel and cut somebody open, while they're 12 years old, take them into the operating room, while they're 10 years old, take them to the emergency room, let them see what's going on, let them get immersed if that's really what they want to do. Because, I mean, that's a career. That's not just a job. You know what I'm saying? When you actually want to take it to heal people, that's a beautiful thing. Are we getting static again?
Hold on. Get rid of static.
Yeah, did Fred. I think they're actually in certain subjects trying to get away more from simply remembering things and actually learning.
Right.
One of those things I could say is math, because for people like me who, you just learned, hey, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4, and you just went down your 2s, and then, you had your 3s and 4s, and they just drilled it into you. So a lot of this new core math stuff that I see some of these kids doing makes absolutely no sense to me, but
You know what's sad
them
about that?
actually working it out.
You know what's sad about that, though? The math that you and I learned versus the math that they're doing now, neither one of them is better than the other. They're both right. It's just that they're not. When we went to school, they didn't teach us both ways, and when these kids are going to school, they're not teaching them both ways. If you really want to teach mathematics to people, I mean, you'd be teaching them mathematics for like 4 or 5 years straight. Because there's like they don't explain patterns in numbers. Like everything in the 9 times table equals 9. 9 times 5 is 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 8 plus 1 is 9. Like everything in the 9 times table equals 9. That was a pattern that I saw as a child on that times table. And when I asked my teacher about it, my teacher didn't know anything about it because my teacher wasn't taught that.
Right.
We're not taught to see the patterns in numbers, and we're not really taught to understand mathematics fully and completely. That's why when we get past algebra, I almost cursed. When we get past algebra, it gets difficult. It gets ugly because now we're using letters and symbols, and we could have been doing that way back in third and fourth grade if it was properly applied and taught to us. But then they also want to take out time for this subject and that subject, and they try to cram everything into an 8-hour period, which is not easy to do.
Yeah, I mean that's you saying that, man. I never even thought about it. I was ADHD, man, and I'm from a little country town in Texas, Hempstead, Texas, where nobody knew or paid attention. You were just bad, he hyperactive or whatever. There was nothing that they did for that. But I fell behind in math until on my own, I started using the powers of 10 for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I could use addition to subtract. Now I couldn't
Right.
explain it. I couldn't explain it to the teachers. When they say, show me
Well,
on your paper,
subtraction is the addition of negative numbers.
when they would say, show it on your paper, show your work, I would always get marked off because I couldn't explain it. But I couldn't follow them with the way they were teaching it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I figured it out on my own.
You see, that's where I disagree with the school system, because you know what? Just like disciplining your children, spanking does not work for all kids. Although, saying shame on you is not going to work for all kids.
Yep.
Right.
Nobody learns the same. Some people learn better by doing, some people learn better by watching. Hey, if they're coming up with the right answer on their own, it's right. Spanking does not work for all kids.
All right.
I agree completely. and
No,
being a
speaking worked
tutor,
for me, man.
I've
It
come
worked for
across
me.
kids who legitimately have ADD, and then a lot of kids that the system has just given up on. You know, those kids that legitimately do have ADD, like you can tell, like they're wired. You know, they've got a lit fuse, and they're really ready to blow at every given moment. You know, but a lot of kids just sit there withdrawn and bored because somehow, some way, the material just isn't reaching them, and nobody's taking the time to actually reach them because
Yeah.
they're not catering to their learning styles.
Amen. I used to
That
have to
was
stay
me in a
after
lot of
school.
cases.
I used to have to stay after school to finish my work. I'm glad that
Hmm.
they allowed it, but I was one of those kids to where everything caught my attention. Nobody took the time to pay attention to how I received information. They didn't know I could talk and hear, you know, take lecturing. A teacher could lecture and I wouldn't take any notes. Just sit there.
And you got it.
Got it. Wouldn't take a book home. Friday, take the test, and I was gonna get a B easy. I wasn't worried about nothing else. I was gonna get a B just because I was taking in, just sitting there with them talking. I could turn and talk to people behind me, but see, I got punished for that. You know, rather than them finding out exactly what it is that how I took in things. Like at my job at the prison, I I could do my job. I listened to conversations, focus on the guys, and I had a couple of guys say I was one of the X-Men because I was see and hear so much, but it never looked like I was paying attention. But at the same time, I would be talking and pouring into them, and they were like, "Man, how do you know so much? Where did you go to college?" I was like, "Man, I went to college for 1 year, and I messed that off rodeoing." I was like, "I'm I was never a dumb person. I'm very intelligent." I said, "But it had nothing to do with a college degree. The way I learn, I'm a podcast guy, talk radio. That's just what I do. I just take in, just take in, just take in. I'm a minister. My Bible was on CD. I would just play the CD, just spin it, just spin the CD. Anything that I want to learn, tune in to a video. Thank you, YouTube. You know, or I buy it on audio, and I'm absorbing. If you
Right.
sitting there and you trying to show me like this right here, that right there, I'll say, how about you just do it? And a lot of people would think, you're messing off. You want me to do the work and you're not really paying attention. I'm like, no, just do it. You do it. Let me stand here. And the next one come along, I bet you I can do it.
And see me, I'm the type. I could sit through the whole lecture, and I could probably, regurgitate everything I heard, but I won't actually fully get it until I actually put my hands on it and do it myself. To me, I gotta participate. You know what I'm saying? For it to
Yeah.
really stick and become a part of me.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
prefer to be
never
hands on.
mind. I never minded reading out loud in front of the class or going up to the chalkboard, because for me that was me putting in the work for me to actually get it.
Yeah.
I
Most
did
definitely.
just because I was shy,
Oh
and
no, I couldn't
I
wait to
wish
put
I
on a
wanted a
show.
man.
I couldn't wait to put on a show, especially when it was like history class and they wanted me to do Martin Luther King's speech. Oh man, I was gonna get up there and I was gonna have the voice inflection and everything, and know the whole. Man, I had the audacity to, for extra credit, I don't care what class it was, I would go to the library and I would write essays on free time. I would write. You remember the opaque projectors, the old opaque projectors? I would do
Those
like
head projectors, yeah.
I'd take a bomber, an old World War One bomber, and sketch and label and put every piece of this bomber, just bring it into class, you know, because I was one that I craved information, but I had my own way of doing it, and a lot of kids fall behind. Man, you'd be surprised how many people in the penal institution that are almost like geniuses but they were just left to,
Yep.
left to flap in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy.
And a lot of it is because they didn't do the work a certain way.
Yeah.
So they were told they were stupid.
Sent to ISS and school suspension and all of that, rather than actually focusing on them and teaching them something.
The big thing is class sizes have gotten way too large. Teachers are one of the professions I feel most bad for these days.
I agree, because
And
teachers
of
are not
course, it
paid
depends
for their
on
work.
certain areas, but the stories I hear from some of these teachers is like, man, I know people can be really crummy, but how can a parent blame the teacher for the child not turning in an assignment?
Yep. It happens. And they'll go in with guns blazing.
Especially today when these parents have access to all these tools so they could see what assignments are due, what assignments need to be turned in, when they need to be turned in. It ain't the teacher's job to parent your kid ever, much less when they're at home.
Hello, Susan. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, good evening, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Yeah, man, it's what used to be important isn't important anymore. They're teaching kids to take these tests as opposed to actually learning something. I mean, what good is that test once you leave that school building? It got them the right numbers, it got them the right funding, but that child didn't learn anything.
And then it kind of gets deleted from their memory because they're not actually using it practically. They
Practice
don't
makes
go out
perfect.
into the world and regurgitate that information. The only thing that they might reuse from school is math. You go to the grocery store, you got to add up the little bill in your head real quick. So yeah, you're using math. But other than that, they're not even paying attention to English. I hate texting people because I speak 6 languages, but I don't speak text. I don't know what the hell people are saying to me sometimes when I get a text message. Yeah. But when I write them a text message back, like I give them it's like SAT format, like they got paragraphs and it's indented with like grammar and punctuation and stuff. They're like, why you got to write all that? Well, that's the way I was taught. Right?
Oh, texting
Oh,
in
man.
microwave form.
Personally, I prefer a phone call if it's not a, hey, I'll be right there, or can you get some bread, or, if it's anything longer than, can you get some bread, give me a call, man.
I don't mind texting unless it's the wife. I want you to hear the voice inflection. I need you to know exactly what it is. I don't know.
Hey, Chewy.
No misunderstandings, man. Let me see. Where's that? There you go. Aquaball say, do you speak Arabic?
No, I know some Arabic. Bismillah, Erakman, Erakim. I know a little bit. No, I do not speak Arabic. I speak French, German, Italian, Spanish, and Chinese or Mandarin.
Man,
Wee.
that is awesome.
See, I grew up speaking Spanish in New York, and when I finally took a Spanish class, like my first year, I almost failed it because I was illiterate in Spanish. Like I didn't know how to read or write in Spanish.
Gotcha.
I knew how to speak it, but I didn't I would see the words and I would pronounce them in English. And this kind of goes back to what you were saying about, with math, how they drill you and have you memorize the times tables. In foreign language classes, what they do is they drill you and they have you memorize, common phrases and sayings, hoping that that will get you in a position to be able to start a conversation, which it does. But if you're not actually going out there to have those conversations, you're going to lose the language, because if you really want to learn another language, you have to learn how to think in that language. Like in Spanish, you don't say I'm hungry. You say I have hunger.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to learn to think yo tengo hambre in your mind. You have to learn to think I have hunger in my mind. In French, you say j'ai faim, I have famine. Like you're not saying I am hungry, but it equates to I am hungry in English. So you already know how to think in English. You just got to know how to think in the language that you're trying to learn.
Okay. So it's a little bit deeper than just word deciphering. It has to be a cultural knowledge too.
It's definitely a cultural thing. I mean, think about this. In Spanish, you don't ask somebody what is your name. You say "Cómo se llama?" How are you called? How do people call you? Or what do people call you? You say "Me llamo Hank." I'm called Hank. I call myself Hank, or they call me Hank. That's how you. I mean, if you walk into like a motor vehicle, they might say "Cuál es tu nombre?" What is your name? That's so informal and direct and official. Like you don't do that in the Spanish language. You say "Cómo se llama?" How are you called? If you really want to understand the Spanish language, you got to understand how to think in Spanish. And it doesn't mean think speaking in Spanish, think how the Spanish language is spoken, because it's different. And the Latin languages all have a similar, or excuse me, the Romance languages all have that similar root from Rome. So, merci beaucoup, Joe. The Romance languages all have a similar root, so they all have a similar formula that they kind of adhere to, and that's what made me go after Mandarin, because um that was outside of the Romance languages.
Oh, Hank, man, I gotta get going, brother. I need a little bit of rest time before I start mine up.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
I
Glad you came
appreciate you
up.
having
Glad you
me up,
came up.
man. It was a blast. I don't know where the hour went.
Hey,
It's been an hour
when I
already.
when I first started this, I would tell people I'm shooting for 30 minutes. Everything after that is a blessing.
Yeah, I don't know where it went, man. And we were chatting for what, a good 15 minutes before, too?
Before it started, yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Well, you're welcome up on mine anytime, dude. As long as I break out into the hangout and I don't have a topic at that point in time, anyone's welcome up if there's room.
Gotcha, gotcha. Hey, I'm coming in there. I gotta at midnight. I gotta move around some fish stuff. But yeah, I'm coming up.
All right, sounds good, man. I'll see you there.
Appreciate you, man.
Nice talking, Dead Fred.
All right, Anthony, you have a good one, brother.
You too. Later.
I hear you, Aqua Balls. But see, if I shoot for short like that and I get long, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. Yeah, it started out one of those things where you know, YouTube is so serious for some people.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to step on no toes. I'm one that I end uprisings. That's just what I do.
Right.
My whole life I had a security company, silverback protection team. I worked in penal institutions, and because of I use the word aura that I exude, it's not hard for me because it's real, it's sincere. They know it's
Hmm.
not for play, but I love all human beings walking the earth. So my concern is always for your well-being, whoever it is, whatever it is you're falling short on. It could be physical meal or drink, or it could be knowledge, it could be whatever. You know, peace. I believe in that, but I'm not gonna let you take my peace though.
Right.
I can't let you have it. So my thing was, hey, I'm new to it. Let me tiptoe around, a little bit and make sure I don't, hurt no feelings. Let me fall into a space. And this 10:30 slot, it seems to be working pretty good. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. And I'm used to having long conversations with one person. So if I see one up there or zero, I'm still gonna talk.
There you go. I see you got a
Thank you,
street team, bro.
Streetwise. Huh?
You got you a street team.
Yeah, right, right. And I hey, I appreciate everybody, everybody. Ian up there, that was my first moderator. Thank you, young man. God bless you. You know, my thing is this: I'm the biggest cheerleader on earth, man. The biggest cheerleader. All I need people to do is to buy in, and you can lead from many different areas. And there's a lot of people that don't understand that. You know, I'm not narcissistic. I don't have a ego trip in any way, shape, or form. I tell people I'll come up the back and make sure you get out. I'll prepare you to work in the front, and I'll make sure you're protected from the rear. I don't have to be in the front. I don't
Right.
have to be. I can be in the middle. I don't care. You know, it's all about the people. It's all about getting from point A to point B, and all of us making it. Thank you, Ian, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, Fred, I call this an extended hug, man. My stream is an extended hug. If I can't
Yeah,
give you a physical one here,
you know,
huh?
I gotta give you and all of the Fish fam props because uh I could say this about this Fish family. You, Bob over at Kayla's Aquatics, Aqua Funk, Fishy Biz, Susie Q, um, Simply Better's, Oddball, and everybody like they're so everybody's knowledgeable about a little something, and it all kind of comes together and complements one another, and everybody's open to share their information. And I've seen time and time again, nobody I could think of off the top of my head right now, no one in particular, but I've seen time and time again people who have been wrong and then come back and say, hey, look, I was wrong about this. It's not dead Fred 921, it's dead Fred 821. Like they don't have no problem. And some people show, and I think this is real important, especially with people who are sharing their journey in the fish keeping hobby. They show their mistakes. They show where they went wrong. They show that tank got busted. They show that tank they got full of blackbeard algae, and how what and you know the 12 steps that didn't work with them trying to get rid of it. That'll save me from doing those 12 steps.
Yeah, for real,
You
for
know?
real.
So now I know I can skip all of that everybody else's suggestion because I actually seen Big Tank Hank do it. And I can see that it didn't work. But you know what? Now I seen that he did this, so I'm gonna go ahead and try this.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't gonna work for me. Maybe I might need one of those 12 things that didn't work for Hank. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
it to me it's important that people show that people show their shortcomings as well. Like the transparency, like I really appreciate that. And uh I'm still on one tank right now with one better. You know, I feel like I've already got multi-tank addiction already with my first tank. You know, but I'm slowing down because my next tank is going to be an IBC tote, and it's gonna be part of my aquaponic farm, and you know that yeah, it's a great community here, great community here. Yeah, and then one thing I miss about the chat, you used to be able to when you were on YouTube, you used to be able to like tap on the person's name and go to their page and then
Yeah, they
subscribe.
don't they don't let you do that
Like
now.
I'm missing out on so many people, and like a lot of people are using their real names. So I'm like, okay, Joe Blow, and I do a search for that. And there's like 40 people with that name. None of the icons match the icon I just saw in the chat. Meanwhile, the chat is live, and I'm missing the stream. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why YouTube did that. Like that sucks. YouTube, get it together.
YouTube was hating. we're not gonna let them all, join together in this big old group agreeing to follow each other. I don't know, what was the purpose for the hate, but hey,
Bob asked a question. He said, where did the name come from and where did the crown come from? Okay, so first, the name came from America Online. When I first moved to Baltimore, I was 18 years old, got my first
Ravens.
laptop, and I had one of those CD-ROMs that would set up America Online on my computer. And they said pick a username. So I tried my real name, I tried my nickname. Nothing was actually sticking because all these names were already taken. So I turned to look at the TV and Nightmare on Elm Street is on. So I'm like, okay, let's try Dead Fred, and Dead Fred stuck. Now it became Dead Fred 821 because that's my birthday, August 21st.
Okay.
Now, I also said that my real name is Derek. Derek is a name that has a Germanic root. It literally means the king. Rick means king or ruler. If you remember back to Slick Rick back in the day, he used to refer to himself as Rick the Ruler.
Rick the Ruler. Yeah.
Rick means king.
Okay.
So you're
Well,
talking.
my real name is Garrick.
Okay. And I wouldn't be
Gerrick.
surprised if the root of that was Theodoric, because the root of Derek is Theodoric. I wouldn't be surprised if it has the same root. But the Rick in that name, I mean, you a king too, brother.
Man, amen. Good deal. Hey,
Yeah,
man,
so
hey.
that's where Dead Fred came from, and that's why I wear the crown.
Good deal, bro. Hey, I'm gonna have to cut my stream short. I got like I told Anthony, at midnight. One of the fish fam is coming over. I got some skimmers and pumps from saltwater 150 that I had. That ain't nothing I can do with. He's getting out work. He's gonna come pick them up. So I'm gonna get on off of here. I appreciate you coming up, man.
Appreciate you having me, brother, man. This was fun.
Hey, and get ready, cause we're gonna have you a dedicated day.
But look, once I get my aquaponics stuff up and running, I'll start uploading some real content. I mean, I got some family vacation stuff on my page, but most of the people, if y'all subscribe to me, y'all know I got playlists that entertain you. See, I like that, Chubbs. Each one teach
Definitely,
one.
Chubbs. Most definitely.
Each one teach one.
Yeah, my thing, man.
Okay.
I have so much. My ADHD rolls over into these tanks. I'm, I'm, I'm very seldom just set and happy with what I got going on. So my videos have to be all over the place, but my niche is sitting here talking to people. This is what I do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I do. If I go to the doctor with my wife, and I'm sitting in the waiting room and they come out and see me with a little group of people I'm talking to. Hey, where do you know them from? Here. From here. I don't believe in strangers, man. I won't let it happen. I got you. But yeah, I don't believe in strangers, man. And when I started sitting in these chats, in Sand Creek Aquatics, rest his soul, pulled me out of the chat, and had me on his stream, and Rob 93 did the same thing. I realized how real that there's some people that's on here just to show their wares and prance around. That is what it is. Those people are everywhere. But for the most part, the fish fam is solid.
It really is.
For the
It
most
really
part,
is.
the fish fam is solid. And I know how to weed through all those others. I let you be you. I don't have a problem with you being you, but I don't have to be around you being you.
Right.
Look, if song and dance, do it. Step and fetch it. I don't have no problem with it. But it just won't be me.
Right.
You know, that's, especially when you have times like this, man. There's too many people that need people, and they don't know that there's somebody out there that's waiting on them, you know, to reach out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good night, Susan. Thank you for coming. All right, Rob, man, I'll see you. Well, yeah, let me go and turn this off. I just got a message. He said he's on his way. Let me get my stuff put together here.
All right, brother.
All
Well,
right,
again,
man. Hey,
thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
most definitely. God bless you. Everybody in the chat, God bless you, because you know it. No, Kayla, no rodeo story tonight, man. No rodeo story tonight. No rodeo story. Chubbs, man, get at me about those uh the Achilles, man, the minnows, top minnows, golden top minnows, man. I got to get me some of them. Holler at me so we can get something going on. And let me go and get off here because I'm gonna be talking and I won't get off and I. All
All right,
right,
brother. I'm
y'all.
gonna leave the studio now. Y'all have a good night, folks.
All right, now. God bless. Now, be good.
You too, brother.
All right. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Thank you for coming through. This was your boy, Big Tank Hank. Have a good night.